Imaging. Super big deal for us with this particular tour. So does everybody see me? I'm gonna wait for the car to pass. Yeah. Everybody sees how I'm orange and everything behind me is blue? Yeah. Okay, so this is actually going to fluctuate based on the temperature that's around. So whatever's in the screen, it will change. Did we get some changes to oranges and reds that were normally blue? So what we're looking for in this particular guy are blue cold areas. Okay, so those cold areas we won't be able to see with the naked eye, right? So those cold areas, according to the camera, will also have some type of structure to them. So the camera automatically puts a white outline around it, whether it's a circle, a wave of cold air coming blast. Like, we will debunk things before we say, ooh, we have a ghost. Okay, so to you, my skeptic, I'm going to have you and Dad, is that correct? Yes. You and Dad are going to both watch this. So that way, and it's already recording. So you're going to hold it just like that all night long. And make sure you see the red square? Yeah. It's beneath your hand. It should be over on this end. Do you see the red square? Yep. So don't touch the red square. That means it's recording. If it turns to a circle, just hit it again, and I'll splice the videos together. Okay. So there are some devices where two sets of eyes, ears, or whatever are needed. That happens to be one of them. And again, you'll have the full recording of that once I upload it.
So when I see a ghost, it's gonna be like blue?
It'll be dark blue, and it will probably move. Just remember, people are warm, so it's gonna be yellow and red and orange. If you see a person and they're blue, they're not one of us. Alright, so a spirit box. A spirit box actually allows us to communicate. So what this does is it sweeps through radio stations. We're going to hear DJs, we're going to hear song lyrics, we're going to hear commercials out of this. We're also going to hear disembodied voices. I need to know what comes out of this box, whether it's one of those four things. It's going to sweep very, very quickly. So if it stops long enough for us to hear a word from a DJ,
but this is keeping blue.
We want to know what that is. So I'm actually going to give this to the two of you because it also requires two sets of ears. So I'm going to turn it on just so everybody can kind of get a gist of what we're actually listening to. So there's only one button for you guys to remember. It's the power button on the back of the speaker. And there you go.
La gente
so
emite un calor.
This means it's recording, no?
A square, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're good.
Okay. Nomás no lo sueltes.
Y te espantas si no lo sueltes, ¿verdad?
Fantasma.
Para que no se acerquen a mí.
Tú tranquila, yo creo que los fantasmas van a estar más asustados de ti que ellos de que
no se van a acercar ya.
Mamá, me hace quitar la
coleta. Con tu
coleta.
dedo, por eso se ve todo naranja.
Si lo tiras,
la cámara está acá.
No, sí, la cámara está. No, sí, que lo cuida la tapa, es más cuidado.
La estás tapando.
Sí, esto estoy tapando. Sí, ve, pon un bebé, pon un bebé.
Alright, so we're also going to be taking some pictures. So I'm going to actually hand this off to you because the one rule of thumb with this guy is nobody that's part of the tour can be in the picture. I can be, but nobody that's part of the tour. Otherwise it's signing waivers and all that mess. It's a simple point and shoot. Not to say that I look for somebody older than the age of 16 to use this, but most kids don't know how to use it. So they look at me like I have 3 heads when I hand them a point and shoot camera.
Yeah, we're just around, like maybe the TV or something. Pictures around.
Alright, so to help us see things that we cannot see with the naked eye, we use a little bit of laser work.
Can I use that?
Can I use that?
No, tú no.
See
The little
how much
one,
the
no.
kids love to take these and I don't ever give it to them?
No.
So what this will do is it actually produces full green laser at the bottom. So in the event something actually passes by it, you will see that flash. Kind of like, don't look at the dots, look at my hand. So see how quickly it flashes through my hand? It's the same principle. The reason why I don't hand this to kids, watch how far that goes. There are businesses, there are cars, there are all kinds of things. With
Yes.
this. So, so number one is actually going to go to you.
My laser.
We use a secondary laser. This one is a little different. It actually has a grid to it. Okay. The reason why we use this one is because 3D software needs an actual grid in order for us to actually capture something. And if we actually get a picture of it or on video, I can enter it to 3D software and we'll have a full 3D image of the spirit that we actually capture. Does that make sense? You guys all got that?
Have you ever seen a spirit?
You're going to ask me a lot of questions tonight, aren't you? You actually get both of them. Yes, the best way to use those is one in each hand, obviously. Not crisscrossed, but pointed straight down. And then you work your way out a little bit just in front of you on the
And if
ground.
I see something, I tell you?
Of course.
Okay.
There's only specific places we can use those.
Okay,
I will kind of give that direction. Sorry. Didn't mean to. All right. Would you like to talk?
Yes.
Awesome. So, this is an EMF meter. Okay, so she's like, yeah, I've seen all this stuff before. So the EMF meter measures 3 different kinds of electromagnetic fields. Okay, so you really only need to pay attention when this thing is going absolutely crazy. I don't want rhythms. I don't want a pulse.
Okay.
That means something man-made is nearby. Obviously green doesn't mean anything either because that's the natural EMF from the earth. So all you have to do is tell me when this thing is going crazy. Can you handle that?
Like all the
Just flashing. It's
all
O sea,
lights
que el
flashing.
puntito está así, o sea, se prende y se apaga. Okay.
Yes.
Eh,
That's it. You don't have to hit anything. You don't. All you gotta do is hold it and watch it.
Agárralo bien.
When you see like the lights are going
Cuando
crazy,
se prende
si se queda en verde no pasa nada. If all the lights are
se
going
prende
crazy,
del verde al rojo.
you have to
rojo
let
al
it,
verde.
you have to let him
o
know.
sea, si está del verde al rojo, del rojo al verde. Okay.
So we should all recognize one of these by now. Temperature taking, right?
Yes.
So this will only measure where the red dot lands. Okay, so obviously it's only going to tell me the temperature of the sidewalk, not the air in between. Okay, so again, it's a laser, goes pretty far. So I need something that's going to say, like, if you happen to see something up on the wall and it's a blue spot, I need to make sure that the whole wall is of the same temperature. If it is, then we need something what we call an ambient temperature to be able to capture it in between. So this guy will actually, through the probe, will actually measure the temperature between you and the wall. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm actually going to hand these off to you. Again, another laser. And I think I forgot my last bit in the car,
Carga el
which
agua, Sammy. Carga el agua.
doesn't have anything yet.
me.
Just you. Awesome. Hang on 1 second.
And he.
Yo tengo el teléfono.
Pero mi papá lo está agarrando.
No, yo se lo pedí que se me es lo que dije. No, Pasti, cuidado, que te voy a poner. Esta es la cámara, ¿ok? Este puntito azul es la cámara.
So this is also a spirit box. That's what I was looking for after I gave out the first one. But this one records the entire thing for us, which is super cool. It's going to record no matter what the volume is at. So if you turn it up or turn it down, it won't make a difference. Even if he's not listening to it, we will still have the full recording. Set this up to record, and all you have to know is one button. There's a little turnstile right there. See how I just kind of pushed it? If you hit the button, it's going to shut it off and I got to reset.
Y luego ya no se
No
vuelve.
need. So we're going to keep it down when I'm telling the stories, and then when I say spirit box is up, then you can go ahead and turn it up a little bit. Okay? And you, again, just tell me whatever you do. Those are radio stations. It's changing them quickly. We want it to change quickly. All right, so everybody should be teamed up with another person or have gadgets. Everybody is
No,
good.
papá, yo contigo.
All right, so we start here for a reason. This place used to be called Big John's. John was a football player, John Kennedy of the 1947 New York Giants. And Big John actually used to nod off to the bartender whether or not the cadets that would come over from our citadel, if they were of age, legal age to drink or not. One night, 2 guys came in, and they were not of age. Sorry, I forgot to start your recording. They were not of age, and John told the bartender to cut them off. So the guys get mad and they leave. They come back the next night and they steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John pulls out his gun and he shoots one and kills him.
Big John of the New York Giants.
Yes. So,
¿Qué pasa más?
now, the bullet hole is still in the front of the building. It is said that anybody that sits in the front of the bar starts to feel sick. They get a headache, dizzy, queasy, all of those extra things. I bring that up on purpose because anybody that starts to feel those things, y'all need to tell me. I've had people pass out, I've had people get sick, I've had people pretty much have to drop out of the tour because it's too much paranormal activity and they've never been around
People
it.
have passed out.
Yes. It happens. Now, I know how it's going to affect me, but y'all need to make that promise that you're going to speak up.
Pero si no, no vamos a
Okay,
avanzar.
so, I do use a couple of extra things on my phone. So, my phone keeps a backup EMF in case yours breaks. So, I have a backup for that actually works. I also use a spirit box on my phone that will actually give us a list of words in the center. And it will actually give us the full list at the end. Now, this is meant to be a game and a hoax. All 62 words from the last tour didn't mean anything. I think I caught about 8 words that actually caught something. So it's usually between 15 to 20% of the words are relevant to where we are in the story that I'm about to tell. Okay, so you guys will have that full list as well. And last but not least, I use a reverse spirit box. Of course, motorcycles are going to start. The reverse spirit box works just like the other two, only it takes those FM stations and it flips them backwards. So when I hear something forwards, I was meant to hear it. So I'm going to let you all listen to this because you're going to hear it on your audio
¿Qué pasa
as
más?
soon as it wants to catch up to me.
¿Qué pasa más?
So it always starts off with a crow sound. So it's complete gibberish.
¿Qué hay? Pero no entendí.
I heard close enough already. So again, it's going to sound like complete gibberish. So I turn that up when I'm kind of separated from you guys and do my own little EVP session with that way you guys will hear it on the audio, and I will repeat the words that I hear and say rewind by 5 seconds. So when you're going through your audio, you'll know Nick heard something, turn it back. What was he asking? So, we good to go? We good to go? Guys? You're like, heck yeah, stop standing here. Let's do this.
Dame la manita.
¿No te sabías la historia de Big John?
No te pones al lado de mí.
No podemos todos en una figura. Yo no, ¿entiendes? ¿Cuánto dura?
Yo también. ¿En cuánto dura pan?
¿Cuánto dura? Porque
No, ma, yo no lo quiero hacer.
So, part of the reason why you guys have, and it's a good question, so I'll explain why. Everything that you guys have is electronic. We don't use any Ouija boards or dowsing rods or anything like that. Because the paranormal world can manipulate anything electronic because they are basically electronic waves from the afterlife. That's why we use the kind of gadgets that we do. So guys, this is honestly kind of a little playground for y'all. There's no true history here, but it is haunted. I get all kinds of communication and activity in this location. I will tell you that this is the horse barn where they keep the horses for the carriage rides. Okay, so any of you with lasers, you need to keep those lasers out of the windows. You will spook the horses, get them scared. Yes.
What if it's a bad spirit?
We will move on very, very quickly.
What kind
It's
of
only
bad-
happened twice in the past.
And how do you know?
I will know. Trust me. We will all know.
What happens if it's a bad spirit?
no,
We will know.
What will the bad spirit do?
no es
It,
verdad.
it just depends on whatever's happening with the gadgets and whatever starts to come. We will know. So, the other thing I will tell you just to kind of age this
tengo
place a
mucho
little
miedo.
bit is that this is the
No,
same red
es un
barn where they
juego.
kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So we're talking 1860s to 1920s. So if that kind of dates this place for you a little bit, this is a great place to experiment with the grids. Obviously, we want to keep them low, the
Papá, me hablas
lasers.
así que me muevo.
Spirit boxes, by all means, listen closely to your spirit box. If you're going to ask questions, do not ask yes or no questions. Ask for something specific. What color is the barn? What's inside the barn? How many people are here? You know, ask a question that you know the answer to. Does that make sense to everybody? For those of you with spirit boxes? Now, as far as asking them questions, give them time to answer. Give them a good solid 2 minutes. Repeat the question several times. If you're going to intermingle gadgets, kind of keep them within your own party. That's obviously for COVID reasons. I'm trying to think, but pictures are going to come out dark, but by all means, take as many as you can. We have found shadow people near here. And we need a good sweep all the way across, nice, slow, with the camera. And you need to be watching that very specifically. So, I'm sorry, what is her name again?
Ruth.
Ruth, when that thing goes crazy, you need to say, hey, it's crazy, but not too loud. We
You
wanna
know
make the
something?
horses
Now
mad.
everything gets red. I think it's. I mean, this,
Well, your hand is in the way.
this one on this one.
Your left. There you go.
Okay.
And nice, slow movements.
So I turned the thing off.
What's that?
Why when you go to the bar,
The thing.
it starts, you start feeling that.
Because it's all that paranormal activity is making that person think. Yes. So it's that person.
And this thing
Is it already going up? Yep, you're already getting some orange, aren't you?
the dot, ¿cómo se dice segundo?
Yes.
¿Cómo se dice segundo? The second dot turned.
Yeah,
And
so
then it turned
I will
up
do my
again.
best to communicate. I know colors. So rojo is what we're looking
Okay.
for. Rojo. So orange is good too. Can't remember, was that
Hasta que
naranjo?
no se ahoga rojo.
All right,
no
so
lo
let's
tienes
kind of
que-
explore a little bit. Go ahead and turn your spirit boxes on.
Ay, Charlie, ve con papá.
Mira, no puedo abrazar a nadie.
Bueno, me da como a mí.
Ven, mi amor, yo te cuido.
So I'll be kind of intermingling with all of you to see for any
It turned to the
questions.
orange dot.
So that's awesome. So
Solo lo
no, orange is good too. Orange is good too, yes. But red is really what makes it like very exciting. But when she's getting orange like that, like it's she's getting some activity already. So that's a good thing. So
So if I see like these kind of shapes,
that's the different
It's
temperatures
turning
of the
to
tint.
it has to move to see something, you know?
Right. Well, not necessarily. It could be just an orb, and as long as it has a circle to it,
It turned
you
into
become.
orange.
I know, and there's somebody nearby, so we need to find out if we can communicate. You need to be listening
It
closely.
turned to red.
So, yeah.
It turned to red color.
No, no los asustes, que tú te pones así, les haces...
Llama, dile que lo deje de molestar.
Not if it's not too loud.
Sí, ya no le hables al señor, ya. Ya, please, ya, no lo interrumpas, si no, no va a acabar el...
Se prendió rojo. Se prendió rojo.
Está bien.
Sí, Ever, no cada 2 segundos. Ve con papá. Sí, pregúntame.
Kind of keep an eye on where she's at, 'cause when she's getting activity is where you need to be with me. Does that make sense? Kind of help mom out, that way there's an extra set of eyes.
It turned into red.
Ya, Ruth, ya.
Mami, le tienes que decir a
I know.
Le tienes que decir a
Ya, al señor, please, ya no le... él ya, tranquilo.
So do you kind of see how it fluctuates a little bit?
Yes, but I haven't seen something that is like catchy.
And you might not see anything until you actually watch it tomorrow. When
really?
Yeah, and because I mean, you're going to be paying attention to me with stories. You're going to be watching the kids. You know, you're going to miss something, and I will catch it. And that's what my job is.
And it for sure is recording, no?
Yes, it is recording.
Because I don't see it here moving. But
It won't, because you moved it around several times. All I need to know is that that's a square. I've tested this several times because we had the same issue before.
Vente,
So, you
How
hear
do
that?
I? Yes, but how do I know that it's a ghost or a?
So we don't. So I know what the stories are here, and I usually get something from Big John and his team from the New York Giants. So like I've already gotten the name Brad, so I'm gonna look at on his teammates list if there was a guy named Brad, and if so, like I'm already gonna walk around and kind of ask Brad some questions and see what happens.
How
So-
I'm not understanding. So you're gonna
Que venga
ask
papá y
people
vos.
if their name is Brad.
No.
Papá,
I
puedes
already have
venir, es que lo hago
Brad's
para acá y se prende
right there.
rojo.
So what I need to do is I have
Mira,
Brad's name show up
está prendiendo. No, se está prendiendo naranja.
No te pares en mi luz.
We were like, what is in the barn? And I don't know what it is. Ta-da!
What?
Like you just plain.
They said horse.
Like,
What's
clear
in the
thing.
barn in there? They
That's
said
why I
horse.
kind of give you some examples.
A ver, pa, por aquí hay uno. Justamente. Está en la coladera.
Where are you? Where are you?
But even if you do hear it, it could have been something I asked over there. So again, kind of stick it up in the back of your head. And because again, I'm going to ask random questions when I break off to see if the answer is going to come up here, if it's going to come up on the audio for the camera, on the audio for here. We don't know where the answer is going to go. It's not going to be specific just back to us. It might.
Like this one.
Like that one.
This was like 5
Está
seconds
prendiendo
after
naranja.
But again,
Ahora hay algo por ahí.
that's it
No,
just got
eso
the last
es
one whole. So, now I did get Brad earlier. So I'm
Pa, hay algo por aquí, en serio. Juro, juro que hay algo, papá. Mira, mira, se prende rojo cuando lo hago para allá.
Ven, acércate.
No, no tengo.
¿Has visto que se mueva algo, Arlea?
really, this is going to come up at kind of like, go ahead and look at these for a second right here. You see that green flash? That's how that's going to come up. This is going to be the exact same thing, only this laser isn't as bright as the green. And you'll notice too, it just happens to be quicker. The red is always showing up as the brightest. So it's really where it's going to land on something closer where I need that.
No quiero, gracias.
John,
No, Charlie lo va a matar.
Color of the barn.
told me first off his name. Then he told me when it
Color of the barn.
O sea, me encanta que sea curioso. Pero
Dice, what's your name?
no,
Dice, what's your
tienes que preguntarle cosas que sabes tú la respuesta.
Ah,
How many people are we here?
Pero para no instalar radio. No, no es lo que
Hey, how are you today? Oh, the weather looks nice. This isn't a
How
full
many people
conversation.
are we here?
Ah, se prendió con naranja por acá. Ah, ven conmigo, yo te digo, tú lo checas. Está prendiendo naranja.
If there's legitimately a Brad here, I'm trying to prove that there's a Brad here.
Por ahí. Pa, fíjate eso, de ahí se están prendiendo. Pa, por aquí hay uno, en serio. Mira, papá.
Everybody kind of has a gist of how their gadgets work. Alright. What do you guys think we're going to learn some history? Okay, so there's enough recording here for me to see it. I mean, you guys obviously had a definitive answer. The next location should be pretty active for our spirit boxes, but we're going to get into the story of that particular location first.
Okay.
It doesn't be there inside because I put it here and it turned
Well, you have to
red.
remember, so with that, go ahead and hold it out. Hold it really far out. So that if there is activity, a ghost nearby, it's going to be right here. It's not going to be where you point it. It's going to be right here.
No
in
es,
front of you.
no es a donde lo pongas. Si está acá, entonces aquí está. Si está acá, aquí está.
O sea, si se vuelve...
No es a la dirección. Sí, no, pero lo tienes que poner así. Entonces sí,
We
está
already went
por
there.
esta zona. No es a donde
That
lo
was where we
tienes.
started.
Lo puedes agarrar así.
Uh-huh.
No es a donde lo dirijas, es en donde estés. Donde tú estás
Say that
parado.
again.
No donde lo dirijas.
So that's just throughout the whole tour.
Ya, déjenlo, vamos a seguir porque, Charlie, en serio, mi vida, por favor, ya con las preguntas. ¿Ok?
Let's go learn some history about Charles.
Porque si no, el tour se va a hacer muy tedioso. O sea, que no puede avanzar. Y hay otras personas, no es un tour privado para nosotros. Aguas con Ruth, Arlet.
Pregúntame si no te puedo contestar la pregunta.
En Zoom. También, ahora, acuérdate de tus preguntas y va a haber momento para hacer preguntas, pero si a cada rato está contando la historia y lo interrumpes, nadie le va a entender la historia. No sé.
Lo pongo así.
No, ay, no.
Hablado con John, hablado con John.
How do I put this?
Ya,
Like this, like this.
Como ya no le preguntas tú tampoco.
ya, tú también, ya.
He hablado con el
Ya.
fantasma John y dijo
Got everybody
mi
over?
nombre es
Alright, so guys, this is the Pinckney Mansion site.
y el nombre es el
So I know it's another parking lot, and I promise this is the last one. But the Pinckneys, their mansion was in the front. The garden was lined up with the blue dumpster, and then the slate homes were back here. Now the reason why this is so important to Charleston is because it was the home of Charles and Eliza Pinckney. So those two had a son named Charles, and they also had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew signed our Constitution. So they obviously were raised right here. I don't like politics, so we're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza married her husband so she could stay in the United States. They were from England. Daddy was dying. He wanted her home. She didn't want to go, so she got married. So that way she became a citizen. So then, after he got better, they obviously made amends. And then the father, starts sending things over from England. Because she was a botanist, somebody who liked to plant things, he sent her over many plants. One of those happened to be indigo. So if you guys have been around town, you've probably seen a lot of things about indigo. We have an indigo inn and this, that, different things about indigo. Indigo makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. We still use it today. So, super important because it started right here. Our rice plantations in Charleston went downhill. We needed another cash crop to bail us out. So with that said, she founded indigo. Not only was she the person who planted it, but she was also the businesswoman who sold it overseas to other countries. We're talking colonial times, 1750s. It's a big deal. We didn't have businesswomen back then. Like, it was unheard of. So, that's the story that happens here. This also used to, just not so long ago, 1980s, was a bar here called Molly Darcy's where there was a full ghost scene of a woman in a blue dress. Now, there's a lot of things that can happen here. Our spirit boxes are going to be active, so listen closely and ask the relevant questions. Those questions could be, how many kids did you have? She had one daughter. Find out the daughter's name. I already gave you one name, that was Charles. So if you want to ask what the other sons' names were, by all means, ask what the other sons' names were. You can also ask what happened to her house. That's another one-word answer. You can, Eliza usually on my spirit box will come through right away with a hello Nick, hi Nick, welcome, something along those lines. You can ask her how many people there are with us, those kind of things. You'd be surprised how much activity we're going to get out of here. Now, Ruth, I I want you to hold up your EMF.
Up.
So can everybody go ahead and face that way? Turn. Hold that up right there. Can everybody see her?
Yes.
Lights? Look at the light on the back of the 5-trip restaurant. So it's almost in perfect rhythm almost every single night. Now, sometimes that light's not going at all. Sometimes it's just on. Other nights, it's going slow. But tonight, it's pretty rapid. Yeah. There's more going on here. I'm sorry, what's that? I would say it's much more clear what comes through our spirit boxes. We might not necessarily find a cold spot, but again, do nice slow sweeps like you did with the other place. Pictures, because there's cars. Lasers, try to keep them, there's a wall all the way around the parking lot. Try to keep the lasers below the wall. Your mom is actually get us random to make sure that everything is
Está prendiendo y apagó la luz. Por ahí, ahí.
Acércate a ver si se prende más rojo. ¿Eh? A ver. A ver, a ver. A ver, Ruth, enseña.
Tú tienes que ponerlo a ver si lo encuentro.
Mira. ¿Me has visto ese? Mira.
A ver, dile que la prendiste y la
Mira la
apagaste.
ventana.
Dile.
Mira la ventana, checa si es.
Va, ven a decir.
Sí, mami, es un señor que está en su casa. Ok, no.
Yo no te voy a enseñar.
Si tú ves algo, me tienes que decir cómo la necesito.
No sabes, no.
Mami, es un señor que está en su casa,
¿Cómo
nena.
sabes? A ver,
Lo estoy viendo.
yo también.
What was your daughter's name?
Sí, esto no se está prendiendo.
What was your
Mira,
daughter's
tiene un puntito rojo ahí, papá. Ma, en la luz que se está prendiendo y apagando.
What was your daughter's name?
I'll have to go back and listen because I didn't hear it. So I'll listen as while we record the whole thing.
Mama, check. What, Elijah, what was your daughter's name? Mami, porque estoy cantando. What was your name? Su mamá me contestó el fantasma.
Sí.
Le preguntó al señor, what will be the name of the ghost talking to me? No, will Eliza be the ghost talking to me? Y la cosa contestó, yes. it
Pa, lo
will.
agarra así.
Ah, de verdad.
No. Tell me what happened to your house.
Pa, me estoy acercando ahí y se está prendiendo. Juego que nos va. Pa, ¿cuántos minutos son del tour? Pa,
I'm asking
Pa, ¿cuántos minutos son del tour? Papá,
Mm,
¿cuántos minutos son del tour?
no sé, no.
Ahora.
What was the daughter? What was the name of your daughter? What was the name of your daughter? What was the name of your daughter?
No me para ella, mamá, tal vez sí.
what happened to your house? See, all this stuff takes time. You gotta wait. Keep asking the same question. Liza, last chance. What happened to your house?
Ya, ya. Ruth, ven acá, mami. Ruth y mami, ven aquí.
I would say it's because Eliza is all over.
Oh, but how do I know if I put it like this, if the light or if I go?
So when it's going crazy, loco.
No.
Sí, pero mi pregunta es, ¿cómo voy a saber si está vibrando, si es la luz, una foto, si es un fantasma?
No, mi amor, ya te dijo que cuando vibra mucho, quiere decir que el fantasma está cerca.
A mí me contestó el fantasma.
Pero ya no le hagan más.
¿Dónde estaba?
It's not me, my mom's name
Eliza.
A ver, habla a Sammy porque veo algo atrás de mamá. En serio, sí tiene algo atrás de él. Ve acá.
Just so you can see it. Just walk around.
What was the name of your daughter, Eliza?
So, did you hear anything?
Nope.
She keeps
You gotta
asking
keep
and
listening.
asking.
I keep asking.
Ruth y mami. Ya no le estés molestando al señor.
¿Dónde te contestó Charlie?
What was your daughter's name?
El único fantasma que veo eres tú.
A ver, déjame ver cómo se ve.
Eliza, what was your daughter's name? Eliza, what was your daughter's name? Eliza, what was your daughter's name? I am uncertain. What color am I wearing?
They're very handy. So you capturing anything on there?
Well, something that I realize is no. Well, I haven't seen one, so I don't know exactly. But I've seen, but I don't see like a form or something like that. No.
Yeah, even kind of like it might even be something so small, like very, very tiny blue in an area of orange where you don't realize what it is until I pause it, frame it, like blow it up on my computer and kind of analyze
Because
it.
I've seen, little spots of blue when everything is orange. Yes, I have seen.
But if you can verify, like if there was a sewer right here and you could see that it was blue, obviously it's because it's metal.
Okay.
So
I understand.
yeah, you're doing the right thing. We just want a nice video to watch later so I can blow it up on the TV and find the stuff.
Okay.
Eliza,
So-
what was the name of your daughter? Eliza, what was the name of your daughter?
Mm.
O sea, para que sepa que si es la luz o el ghost, cuando se haga verde, rojo muchas veces.
Mi vida, no. Sí, simplemente es eso, mira, eso. Espérate, a ver, ponlo así.
Eliza, what was
Eso.
the name of your daughter?
Eso ya, quisiera ver.
Hay algo acá.
A ver, vamos a ver, estoy poniendo la cámara, a ver.
Ale, te pasó algo por aquí, mira. ¿Verdad, papá? ¿Dónde no? Tal vez está ahí o ahí, no sé. Pero está por esta línea.
Ah, no.
Qué raro. Mira. Ya se fue. Seguro ya se fue, miren, ya no está acá. ¿Cómo un fantasma escapa?
That's a good question. How did she know? I'm waiting for them to tell me. Again, if I start telling them all the answers, that's all they're gonna hear. That's all they're gonna hear. So she's still asking.
What was the name of your daughter? No, what was the video?
I know, but that's written down as birth.
Confusing.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
How did you die? Eliza, how did you die? Eliza, how did you die? Eliza, how did you die?
No nos va a contestar porque no existen los fantasmas.
¿Y por qué le están preguntando si no existe?
Eliza.
Dile que if she finds you handsome.
Eliza, how is the afterlife?
O la joroba desde aquí que estoy viendo si va a ser para siempre.
Eliza, how did you die?
Tengo miedo de desmayarme, Vanina.
De desmayarte, Barminal. Te vas a
No me
desmayar.
quieres abrazar.
Te abrazo toda mi vida,
Te
ma.
cambio, pa.
Yo te abrazo toda mi
Mira,
vida.
es que esto está muy... Ay, pensé que me iban a darme la voz. Espera, vamos. Pa, en serio, ¿cuántos minutos?
¿Qué
dura?
pasa si me desmayo, Barminan?
Te desmayas, Vanina. Pam, ¿por qué nos quedamos en una bolita?
Nosotros nos tienen que cobrar extra porque Charlie ya se nos acabó.
Eliza, how did you die?
Ay, pa, en serio. Pa, en serio, esto es en serio. ¿En cuánto acaba el tour? ¿Eh? ¿Cuánto acaba el tour?
No sé. Vamos hasta que encontremos a uno.
Pa, mira, una luz roja adentro. Mira, pa, mira lo que me...
So let's go ahead and power
Hay
those
una
down
luz
for a
roja que se está prendiendo apagado. En la lámpara hay una luz roja.
Go ahead and shut it off. All right, so
Pa, mira el
a couple of
misterio.
things you should have been hearing. What happened to the house was a fire. So fight, fire, relatively close. Well, I mean, I wasn't nearby to record it, but I'm going to take your word for it. She did die of cancer. So cancer is obviously two syllables. Let's get out of this thing. She's
Yes.
yeah. She had breast cancer.
No sé cómo agarrarlo.
Ya, mira, no
Pa,
te...
mira.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that there were 4 kids. So again, with the thermal imaging, we'll have to watch that video because what I explained to Joseph was sometimes they're so small on that cell phone.
Pa, mira el
You
misterio,
can't really
mira, pa.
see it until you blow it up. I blow these up on my TV so I can watch it. I upload that video to YouTube, watch it on YouTube, and then give it back to you guys on my website. So, guys, we're going to go to the next location. It's about 3 blocks away, maybe 4. So no lasers. We're going to be walking down a main street. If you want to listen to your spirit boxes, you can. If it's busy down there, I will ask that you guys put your masks on. It's just kind of one of those, we're going to be in a busier area. At least have them handy. I do have one, by the way, but I do have epilepsy, so it kind of prevents me from wearing it for more than 10 minutes. I kind of get weird with it. It's goofy. But you guys are all doing a great job. You guys have great questions. So, especially you. When you guys hear the audio, he's got so many good questions. Like, it's like all my tours that I've done all wrapped up into one with him. So, he's doing really good. So, keep it up. Ruth actually had some really good questions about how to hold the EMF. So, she was worried about, like, waving it around or just looking at it like this. And she's doing the right thing. Just hold it out and wait for that yellow to red to come up. And just so you know, the yellow to red is gonna come up on East Bay because the wiring for the parking meters is underneath the street, and it's gonna make it go off.
¿Qué
So,
pasa, ma?
Que ahorita se va a prender, porque ahí se estacionan.
so I think we're good. So let's head out this way.
Where we don't use the lights.
También dijo que yo también tengo muy buenas preguntas.
Sí, de cómo.
Ya, está bien, no se peleen ahorita por tonterías.
Es como si le hago así, uy, está sonando por todos lados. La lámpara que se está prendiendo, apagando un poquito en la oficina también, y en esa máquina también. Hay que medirlo. ¿Le puedo preguntar que si en el camino va a haber fantasmas?
No, ya dijo que no, que ahorita donde vamos a caminar no hay nada porque hay muchos cables y luces y ahí no les gusta estar.
Ma, este es el lugar que se va a prender.
Qué rica noche, ¿no?
¿Para qué horas son?
10 para las 10. Dile, rápido. Sí, mira.
Ma, este es el lugar.
Dile que si sabe unos baños que te paren, nada más.
Ma, este es el lugar donde están.
Sí, está bien.
Ma, se está prendiendo. Desde el 1600. Ma, se prendió, mira. Se está prendiendo la naranja.
Más adelante
¿Qué?
No sabían hasta que además
Pues porque va. No tengo miedo. No tengo miedo.
Dile Arlet, nada más que si ve un baño que te diga dónde y ya.
Is that back at that candy store? Is it open? No more. So I mean, are you sure? Because we can wait.
No.
We're actually making good time.
No.
Okay.
Will the monster be talking to name will be Eliza? Yes, the name Trixie. I say again, can you take your name?
Aparte, Charlie me cuenta las reuniones de ahí.
Está bonito aquí.
repeat. Say your name.
Say my name, say my name.
Say your name, say your name. Estamos caminando hacia el coche, ¿no?
No.
Estoy muy seguro.
¿Sabes qué? Tiene esta... Cada calle tiene, o sea, esta no habíamos quedado. Ve qué bonito está todo.
Take two of them so that we have something to compare by in case we do get something.
Te salió una lámpara y como lámpara picando. Te daban la clave.
Ma, hay alguien atrás de ti, ¿eh?
Aquí se pueden haber fantasmas. Aquí se pueden haber fantasmas.
See how it's, so you see how steady? No ghost. Yeah, pretty much. But because it's steady, no fantasma. Okay, so guys, you're in. Let's turn that square box down. There you go. So we're in Lodge Alley. So Lodge Alley is one of the oldest streets of Charleston. So we're talking 1790. People used to live here. Like was their address. So the cool thing about this location is I actually have the list of every person that's ever lived on this street. And lately, a gentleman named Benjamin has been coming through on my spirit box, and then he gave me a neighbor of his in the same year named John. So I have the list of what their jobs and occupations were. I got the word maybe, so again, you're like second guessing me. But still, I just kind of hang out here for a few minutes. We'll listen to the spirit boxes on the way out. The place is the Lodge Alley Inn Hotel. Of course, every hotel in Charleston has its own ghost. But there's nothing in there that ties it to the history of Charleston. Like, there's no valid proof of anything in there, so I don't normally talk about it. But just know that every hotel that you're going to see when you're downtown has its own ghost story. But again, these bricks are made out of clay. The people that used to live here were considered lower class or poor because they were able to find their silverware, their tools, fabrics, like little pieces of their clothing. So that's how they would determine where they came from in the class. So you also have to keep in mind, like the water's this way, but Charleston during that time was much smaller around the edges because we built it out. So the water would have been really, really close. So the people that lived down here, they were fishermen, mariners, grocers, and that type of that's where their occupations were. So I use the local words that came to that.
Me dijo que aquí no pueden haber fantasmas porque hay luz.
The pictures, I usually get a couple of weird shadowy pictures. Blue has a shadow person. And when I say shadow person, it came up on the thermal imaging camera. Now, I told you guys to keep an eye out for blue on that because it's blue obviously means cold. But if everything around is usually red, I just need a cooler temperature. So we did have a yellow apparition come up, and I did catch a shadow with the digital camera in the same area at the same time. So super cool stuff. We never know what we're going to get down here. Here's what I'll tell you. We're going to walk through this way. You're going to stop, turn around after we all walk through, and we'll wait to take more pictures back the other way. That's a neighborhood. Tour guides in Charleston can't be tour guides in neighborhoods. So we're going to be 11 friends ghost hunting. And then we're going to make a right and go up to the next location. So I did get a lot of words coming through here, but I'll have to see how it all ties together. You have to remember, one little thing doesn't make this exciting. It's the whole hunt as a collective. So you guys had a couple of words. You're listening intently, but I'm going to have to listen to his spirit box on my own to see what he didn't hear. And of course, our audio might be picking up a few things with the video. So we're going to kind of have to see what comes out of all of this, and we'll take it from there. So again, super cool. This is, again, one of the oldest streets back to 1790. So everybody just be here.
Can I turn my street box
Yes.
on?
But it's
Can you tell me what was your neighbor's name?
Estoy entretenido. ¿Eh? ¿Tú no? Bien, cansado.
No sé cómo que es. What ¿cómo se llama?
That's just for you guys. I do this during the daytime.
Just for us to be curious.
Yep. We have another tour.
the electric is also
Yeah, they're doing another tour. So they're walking by, let's map it up. Hi, how are you? Pretty good.
¿Qué me estás haciendo? ¿Para qué te sirve la mala? ¿Cómo que pasa?
Toma la foto. ¿Sabes dónde está el coche?
Sí, po. Sí, por. Arles, mami, adelántate con Ruth, porfa.
¿Voy con ella?
Sí, nomás usar, pues si vamos a cruzar calles, no, si no va a estar tan atento de esto.
So a lot of places I go into, like they come right out and say, "Hey Nick, hi Nick." Like I walked into the Provost dungeon, and I hadn't been there in probably a year or two, and it was the first word that came up, and then I heard it on the spirit box as well. Like it was an immediate, "Hey Nick, how's it going?"
No, mi vida, las casas no.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. A lot of times, even with Eliza, the Pinky Mansion site, it's an immediate. So, depends on.
I mean, if we are near a graveyard or a cemetery or something like that, it would happen or no?
So cemeteries, you have to remember, spirits usually go where they're happiest.
Ah,
Are you going to be happy with where you're buried? Not
okay.
necessarily.
They like to go on planes, believe it or not, on planes. Because there's a lot of activity. I saw that on one of those. They like to be with the living.
Well, it could be wherever the tragedy happened of how they died, or they're going to go back to like Eliza, back to her home where she's happiest. So, you know, the reason why this whole tour is called Stories in a Cemetery is because Charleston's one big cemetery. With the amount of wars and fires and everything else that we've had here, you're walking on somebody's grave, no matter where we go. You've all done it tonight already. Like that's how much tragedy we have here and why it's so haunted. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to Gettysburg, because there were people buried on site. Like they dropped dead, they buried them right there the next day after the war. So I mean that's kind of like the reason of what's going on. But that's where the tragedy happened. And that's why we don't go through so much of cemeteries. Now, the cool thing is the picture you just took. This is the gate that I call the Death Gate. And the reason why is because this was Dueler's Alley, where duels used to occur. The loser of the duel would go through the gate and over to St. Philip Cemetery to be buried right away.
Ah, really?
And then everybody would go celebrate the winner.
Okay.
And the duel what happened in this alley?
Yep. So there's one story that we tell here. And keep in mind, there's probably been hundreds of duels that have happened here, but there's only proof of one. The Whistling Doctor is the story down here. Now, this is now called Philadelphia Alley. So if in your notes you see Philadelphia or Duelers, it's the same place. So the doctor moved down here from Jersey. He was supposed to get married to a woman named Amanda. Amanda lost her parents, and her parents left her a bunch of money. And the lawyer said, no, you're not going to get married yet. So he moves down here to Charleston to start his practice and prove he's just not after her money. So the coachman that would have dropped him off set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start to him starting his practice here in Charleston. But somebody came by and said, no, this is not a good place for you to be. Let me get you somewhere else. So he takes him to a house over on Church Street. The two become friends. That gentleman's name was Ralph Isaacs. The doctor was named Joseph Brown Ladd. So the doctor moves up in hierarchy because his practice is doing well. He has lots of money. He whistles a lot. That's why he's called the Whistling Doctor. And the two used to go to plays together, but they had to talk about him on the way home. So on the way home one night, they're talking about a new actress that was in town, and the doctor liked her. Ralph did not. It turned into an insult party on the doctor's fiance back home in New Jersey. So the two got mad at each other, go their separate ways. Ralph, being from Charleston, has ties with the paper. He writes in the newspaper what a disgrace the doctor is to Charleston. Yeah. So the doctor rebuttals and says, we're going to settle this in Dueler's Alley. So they come down here, they take their 20 paces, they turn. The doctor shoots his gun in the air. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to make a point. However, Ralph took 2 shots below the knees on the doctor. The doctor drops. He didn't go through the death gate because he didn't die. So his friends pick him up and carry him home. He dies 10 days later. It is said as you walk through here, you can hear the whistling of the doctor and or gunshots. Now, we might not be able to hear them with our ears. That's why we have all the gadgets, the camera, my audio. When you're listening to this, this is the place to turn it up and listen for whistles. Okay? So, obviously not many people talk about this gate, but I will tell you, at the end of this alley, the bricks are going to get older. The bricks you're standing on were replaced in the 1990s. At the very end, their slave children sun-dried those bricks, which means they turned them every hour to dry them by the sun because they didn't have ovens. So they're fingerprints, and there's an actual child handprint in one of the bricks down there. It's also residential at the end of this. People live there. So I'm going to point it to the person behind me, and then so forth and so on. You guys just keep going down the line. We cannot hang out outside that gentleman's home. We're going to make a left outside of here, but we'll walk kind of slowly. We're going to pass by that little tour that's going on right now. Looks like he does an alley tour. He just cut through all the different alleys, I noticed. So he's doing things a little differently than me. But we're going to pass by him and mask up while we're walking by him. The spirit boxes, listen to after we pass him. And your lights are going to go crazy, and it's okay. There's one place.
The light.
Yeah, there'll be
I
lights.
see something like this and just one this
Yeah, but that's probably just from the buildings and the wiring. You're okay. Alright. You guys good? Alright, let's take a hike.
Ya me acabaron los mocos.
No me puedo callar.
Sí, compro off y no lo traes, es increíble.
The old doctor, if maybe there's some way they can work with that, maybe we can be partners. There's no reason to be competitors. But the old doctor is not interested. His only suggestion is that
You can capture the St. Philip's people in the background. It makes a really nice tour. When I give you guys like the validated proof, there'll be links to some of the articles where I found my data, or maybe even one of my own articles, so that way you guys can see how I find this.
Ya deja estar jugando. Cuando veas algo que valga la pena.
No, porque cambiaron. Porque cambiaron. No.
Did that light just flicker again?
Yes.
Every night. So for the past 2 weeks that I've been doing these tours, that light is flickering every time I walk by. And I didn't even start realizing it until I started like watching the video and I noticed like a different flash or whatever. And then I noticed it the other night. So that's 4 nights that's actually happened in a row. And there's number 5. That's just the strangest thing. I'm gonna have to see if it's a motion detector. So yeah, there's some fingerprints there. You can kind of see.
Yes. Son los fingerprints de los niños que ponían los ladrillos.
More fingerprints.
Yes.
Fingerprints.
Thank you. Ah, sí, one hand, yes. Eran los niños esclavos que ponían los ladrillos.
¿Dónde? ¿Más dónde?
So what do you think? You think you're gonna see any ghosts in that video?
Charlie está hablando.
You gonna see any ghosts in that video? when you watch it?
Maybe.
There's light and the second button or the button.
We got everybody? Okay.
No, ¿por qué?
Alright, so one
Vamos a
more
escuchar.
location to check out. The brick building that we have over here, which, by the way, guys, this is how my normal investigations go, even on my own. Like, I have people with gadgets helping me out, and we review all the data later. So we did get some things so far that I definitely have to dive into. But this is kind of how it goes. It's not all TV hype, you know? So it's not all about all that excitement. So the building over here was actually part of our cotton industry. The last person who owned it was George Pereira. He actually inherited the building and the business from his dad. He had no idea what he was doing. So he got himself into a bunch of trouble. He owed a lot of money. And he had to get out. Also had to get, he had the boll weevil in town. The boll weevil is a bug that eats cotton. So his crop was going downhill. So he had to get out fast. So the back of the building was the warehouse for the cotton. And he had workers back there. And then the front of the building were his office buildings. His office, I believe, is on the second floor. So again, we're 2 blocks away from the water, so it was a waterfront building, so he could be able to see the outside of the water. So instead of selling his cotton and getting out, he sells it like to Americans. He sells it to the British. So the British send a ship over up to Pineapple Park, which is where that is now, and they unload it from back here with horse and buggy in the back garage. George is watching everything from the front. Somebody gets too close to the cotton with a pipe, and the whole ship catches fire. George sees everything. He's already depressed. He didn't have enough money from the British to, pay off his debts here in America, and now his dad's legacy is gone. So he actually piles up all the furniture and he kills himself. So very, very sad story. And it is said you could see the shadow of a swinging corpse from time to time. Now I haven't caught it yet, but I take a lot of pictures when we're up there. George does like to come through. However, there's also another ghost that likes to come through the spirit boxes too. 2 blocks from where we came out of the alley, there's a place called Poogan's Porch. It's a restaurant. So Poogan is actually a dog. It was named after the neighborhood dog. The dog will actually pull on your pant legs while you're eating. So he's a playful little guy. And you can also see the owner, her name was Zoe, in the ladies' restroom in the mirror. So if you're in there washing your hands and you look up, you might catch a glimpse of Zoe behind you. Now, what's funny is how I know she's the one who's coming through is because her name normally would be spelled Z-O-E-Y, but she spells it Z-O-E because she's, at least her ancestor, her last name was Saint Amon. So I had to look up her history to see where she originated from. She's the one who comes through. She'll tell us that she had a restaurant or that she served plates. You know what I mean? Anything dealing with food. So forks, knives, spoon, those kind of things is what you're looking for. George will tell you what happened to the ship. He'll also tell you that it was a business. He'll tell you it was cotton. It just depends on who wants to come through. And there's just some nights I get absolutely nothing out of this book.
Can we ask questions?
You can.
Do we vote?
Mm-hmm. So, we're going to test something with the infrared thermometer when we get up there. So, if you guys notice
Déjate pelarte
the very
la
top of the
costa,
building, you see how it comes to a peak there in the center?
Yes.
It comes to the same peak in the front of the building. What's interesting is that with the infrared thermometer, it will reach that point. The top of that building is usually anywhere between 15 and 30 degrees cooler than the same type of stone just below it. I never know what it's going to get. Sometimes it's all the way up to 30 degrees different. And that's only because the building is completely hot. Now they're changing the front of the building to be a wedding reception area. So it would be waterfront, super expensive, very pretty. However, it also used to be a brewery where they made beer.
3 degrees less or more?
Less.
Well, we're going to test it in the front of the building.
Oh.
So when we get up to the front, we're going to test it there. That thing's going to go crazy in the front, but that doesn't mean anything. It can hurt you.
Here's the light and there's nothing.
Right. So there's no ghost right here. I just
But
stopped here
the
so we can...
underlining is on.
Yeah, just... Alright, so we're going to cross 1 and then 2. And then we're going to walk alongside of the building. Spirit box is up. Yes.
So So who owns the factory before?
I get all kinds of different names out of there. I just got the word seed. So we're already getting things that we can get later to the top. So I'm guessing George is probably going to come through, so we'll kind of see what happens. So let's go up to the front, listen to your spirit boxes, and let's see if we can actually capture it. It almost looked like your shoe was untied for a second. Oh, I also got the word dinner. So again, we might have both of them.
Really?
That's the nature of ghosts. I can't tell them what to do. If they want to come through, they come through. Okay, so do I have Zoe or George? George? Okay. George, tell me what happened to the ship. I heard George. George, I need you to tell me what happened to the ship. Zoe, if you're with us, tell us what business you're at. What did you serve there? Zoe, I need you to tell us what type of business you have. How you doing?
Haz preguntas, Gish.
Who's got that infrared? He's got it down there. So you can probably take, like if you go back horizontal, there you go. Go all the way to the very top of the building and get us the temperatures.
88, 85, and 50 at the top.
50. So
You get 62 at the
62 at the top. Okay, so tell me what the next stone down is. Go down, right there.
78.
So 78 to 62, that gives us what, a 16-degree difference?
Yeah.
So again, there's no reason why I should do that, other than the fact that there's weird things that happen with this building all the time. So again,
Here is 86, there is 75, and that is 62.
again, huge difference. Like again, we've tested it with all the other buildings around.
And you are the same?
The buildings are relatively no.
No puedes cerrar tus pies. No puedes cerrar tus
One of my
pies
guests
para que
one
no
night
se
decided to
entere.
do it, and
recárgate
he did
ni
it before I
siquiera.
could catch him. He was shooting the laser in businesses, and I'm like, "Guys, stop! You can't do that."
No, he can, of course he can.
He's okay. He's all right. But if we can get a few pictures of the windows, we get a few pictures of the building. Maybe try to get the second story.
No hemos visto nada. Pero sí le contestó ahorita algo ahí en el radio. Le puso dinero y luego le dijo que era George.
Yeah, I did hear George come through, but I also had the word. Again, remember, I have two spirit boxes. This one said seeds, pasta, and dinner. So it could have been Zoe too. So I'm gonna look to see what kind of food she served to see what actually came through. But again, Zoe's restaurant might have been different than Zoe's court. So, you guys hear anything? What did you hear? Okay. Okay, good. I also got the word unemployment. So those two to me kind of tie it together.
Ya, please no juegues con eso. Dáselo a mamá.
Estoy bien, así es la misma
Dáselo, mami, please, quítaselo.
It's hard to listen to it.
I have to like stay really close.
Well, we got the word cat,
Yeah,
but
because
Pugan was
maybe
a
the
dog. But I'm like dog would have made more sense. So unless you're talking about the cat on your shirt. walk around his office. I'll have to find out. Screening.
What does the word screening?
It means to kind of look into somebody before you get to know them. So I would screen you to find out if you're a good candidate or not to be a ghost hunter. What's that? It could have been. He had to screen the British. But he was just looking to make some money so he could pay off some of his debt. So, did you have good questions? So what did you guys think? Is this what you guys all bargained for? Is this what you thought you were getting into? It's a little different, huh? So, but again, this is everyday life for me. So I'm actually going to call it, since I'm not seeing any other relevant words coming through. I'll let the spirit boxes run for a few more minutes, but I'll start collecting your gadgets. And then I'll get you guys back to your cars. Did you guys park near where we started?
No, I know. No, we parked that way on King
okay.
Street, so it's
You
okay.
guys were okay? You're actually probably closer than what you expected then.
So it's a shame. I mean, you think after you could tell if we catch something?
Yeah, I'll watch it in the morning, and I'll
Let us know.
yeah I'll put the markers on there so that way you can skip right to it.
Okay.
Because I kind of record everything as I'm.
Do you
going
want me
through.
to put stop?
Go ahead and hit that square.